I love you.
Divine Creator.
Well, the next question is, how do
Father.
we solve the problem? And that's how Ho-Oponopono
And Son and
does. It solves the problem by cleaning. And you clean by using 4 powerful
my
sentences.
family, relatives,
I love you. I'm sorry.
have offended
Please
you,
forgive me. Thank you.
your family,
Each one of those
and
represent very powerful
in thought,
healing energy
words, deed,
of
and action.
repentance,
From the beginning,
forgiveness, and gratitude and thankfulness. Each one of those are very healing in and of themselves. And when you put that together, you start off just repetitively
let this song
making those statements repetitively. Because you see, if you don't clean with those statements, you're living you're either living by memories or you're living by inspiration. And one of the things that Ho-Oponopono is able to do, it starts to clear your mind of the memories and allow you to receive inspiration from divinity. And therefore, when you start to resonate or start to vibrate or have energy, that kind of energy in your body, you start to notice how your behavior improves. You start to feel more at peace. You're less liable to respond, react, not respond, but react so quickly to something that, even if it irritates you,
and Son,
you start to realize that you're just witnessing. You're not. That's not who you are. It's like looking at TV.
my
It's a
family,
program, and you start to open up and understand that
have offended
what's happening outside of you
your family,
is
relatives,
not necessarily who you are. It's just something that's happening or occurring, and you start to
from the beginning of our
interpret things from a more
we ask
intuitive or spiritually. You'll start to notice your awareness will increase. So you start to get in touch with a higher consciousness, a higher awareness, something more basic to our natural character, not
and vibrations.
being triggered by every little thing that happens in the environment, but more so you're able to be more calm and less reactive. So Ho-Oponopono gives you this cleaning tool so that you can clean yourself of past memories and data. And like Shakespeare, Arthur Julian always referred to Shakespeare like the whole world is a stage and everybody's playing their part. Well, the stage is in our psychic, and the memories are on the stage, and they're acting for us.
Divine
We're acting
Creator.
through our memories. We're just acting and reacting over and over, repeating the same programs, and literally stuck on issues, family issues, job issues,
relatives, and
relationship issues,
have offended
you name it. We have so many issues, physical
your family,
condition
relatives,
issues,
and ancestors
ill health,
in thought
addictions, food irregularities. All these
from the beginning
problems
of our creation.
are in our psychic by memories repeating and passed down generations of memories and data. So the data is on the stage of our mind, and we just
Purify and release
play our part
and cut all negative
unconsciously.
blocks
And Ho-Oponopono,
and
the amazing part about Ho-Oponopono is that
into
it's a technique that you can transmute. You can actually move your consciousness to a higher level through cleaning using the process. And you can transform yourself, literally transform yourself, just by repeating those mantras. But like anything else, you do it with passion. You don't just, it's not a mechanical, robotic kind of, you do it and you can fake it till you make it. Put it in your consciousness and keep doing it until you do feel it. You know, until you
Divine
manifest.
Creator.
You know, for me, I am open to new experiences. I like to grow, because if I don't grow, I gotta go. And I always want to move up. I want to move up. I don't want to stay in one spot. Like the Native Americans say, when you walk in a stream of water, you can never step in the same step twice. And that's how life should be. You shouldn't go backwards. You should move forward. Don't just go through life. You grow through life. Grow spiritually. You spiral. You keep going up. And then you start to realize that you are a child of God, and it's your birthright to inherit the kingdom. The kingdom is paradise on earth. It is here. And I know that there was a fellow asked Jesus, where is the kingdom of heaven? Can you show it to us? And Jesus the Christ said, the kingdom of heaven is within you. You know? And if you don't go within, you'll be living without, you go without. So it's always very important that you start to go within.
You have allowed this just to flow through you, the information that you just shared, and so I appreciate that. But going back on a couple of the points that you made, you talked about the healing of this ward of clinically mentally ill.
Yes.
So explain that a little bit more if you don't mind.
Well, these people had actually committed murders. They raped. They were in chains. They were chained every day, and they were not allowed to go outside. They were monitored strictly. They were confined to prison cells. To hospital wards, and the ward was very, very dreary. It was very, very depressing. The staff would call in sick, take off days, not come in. They were depressed because it was dangerous. The staff would walk with their backs against the walls because you couldn't be assaulted. People were assaulted, and people quit. You know, the toilets were flushed on their own. There was different types of energy there that was, pretty not pleasant. And so Dr. Yulin was called by a friend of his from the hospital and asked him could he help, because they needed a psychologist to help with the mental conditions of these people. Well, Dr. Yulin wanted to help his friend, so he said, yeah, sure, just give me the names and send me the names and I'll take care of it. He said, I can't do that. It's confidential, so you'll have to come. Dr. Yulin didn't really want to go, but it was his friend and he wanted to help out. So he went, but he did not see it. What he did was, he did not see the patients or treat the patients, which is very amazing. What he did was he gathered their charts.
I love you, Divine Creator.
He collected their charts and he looked at their charts, read their names and what they had done, and he took a chart, for example, and he said, whatever is going on in me that I feel as I experience this person, I clean on that. Whatever I share with that person, I clean on that. So he cleaned on whatever he felt was going on in himself as he read about the other person. Sometimes he referred to it, we shared data. We shared memories. We tend to think of ourselves as individuals, but there's no individual. There's no separation. And they're showing that over and over again in physics. Even the physicists do experiments, and now they know that you can't be objective. It can't be objective data, because who's ever observing the experiment affects the outcome of the experiment. Example, they tried to research and find the smallest particle. And the physicists noticed that every time they found the smallest particle, they found a smaller one. It's because their consciousness stated, as part of what they were looking for, they stated that they were looking for the smallest particle. So they created a smaller particle each time they looked, they created a smaller one because they're creating. We are co-creators. We were put here not to, we were put here to take care of, you know, have dominion, to share, to coexist with everything, all the other life forms. Not to enslave, not to abuse, but to enliven and live in cooperation, in community with the whole, every life form, all living forms should be our brothers and sisters, you know, and the food, you know, we don't have to kill, you know, everything was put in abundance for us, and this is still the Garden of Eden. We just have to wake up and be aware, wake up, stop sleeping. We're sleeping, we're sleepwalking, so we have to wake up our consciousness.
You talked about who am I as your first question, and you touched on language as being important and how we use that language, and you made a really colorful example when you said my dog, you know, because that's really one of the terms that people use a lot. Right. I've used it before.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the thing is about, you have to realize that in the beginning, as they say, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Now, what does that mean to me? That means that you can invoke any kind of energy that you want to exist on this planet by just declaring a word. You can manifest, but what happens is that if you start to play with the language, you dilute the power and the intensity and the intent of the word, you know, because we are children of God. God manifested this earth. We were put here to manifest and to keep it in balance, in harmony, and everything should just spiral and keep existing in peace and love, a harmonious flow of energy. So, getting back to the word, the word has been played with and tampered with. In a movie called Amistad, the brother was told by this lawyer of his that he would be able to get them free. And when he was not able to get them free, the African said, "You said we were going to be free." He said, "Yeah, I did. But what I mean, or what I meant was," see, he started playing with the words, you see, and that's what they do in the court system and all this. They play with the word. They give it double meaning, this. And the African said, he took off his clothes and said, "Keep your words. They don't mean anything." You know, in Africa, when we say things, that's just what we mean. That's why you can manifest, because you mean what you say, and you say what you mean. So you come to a culture now where the names are fabricated by maybe playing with dishes and throw them up and they make a sound, pop, pop, Bob, Bill, Joe. You know, the names, how'd you get your name? Well, you know, I had a friend named Bob, or whatever. But you don't have anything with substance, symbols without substance. And that's what you don't see. You don't see pictures in Africa, oh, this is pretty, but it also invokes something. You know, everything has a meaning. The name has a meaning. What day you were born on has a meaning. What time you was born. So you get to know who you are from your ancestors, from your way you walk, from the way you talk, the way you were born, what day you were born, what time you were born. You have meaning. It's embedded into you. And the village or the community or the society knows who you are just by your name. So you're gonna, and you're proud of who you are. So the word is very important. But we, like, you know, it's diluted and diluted and diluted, and it's played with, you know. I mean, we're very colorful people, African American, you know. we've had to go through a lot of changes. I knew when I was a kid it was Negro, and then I tried to find out what that was. They said it never grows, and then I had another word come after that. African, what is it? Negro. I can't remember the line and lineage how it ascended from African. Negro to African American. It went up black.
Colored.
Oh yeah, colored. I forgot colored. That came after Negro, I think. But all these terms, and then you got, hey, African. When I went to Howard, I said I'm an African. Right on. I'm African. Those at home and those abroad, as Garvey used to say, African for the Africans. Hey, we're African. James Brown, say it now. I'm black and I'm proud.
You talked about memory as well, and I find it interesting because it reminded me, like going old school, a record player where the needle gets stuck in a groove, and it's like, it stays stuck over and over. How you were talking about, we just relive our memories, and so it prevents us from enjoying the beauty of the present. Right. And in the present, the now, nothing can really be done except in the now. If you're thinking in the past, you'll behave and you emotionally emote. Everything will behave and take you to your past, and it'll keep you stuck in your past. And it's pretty obvious because people study this kind of thing, and they throw things into our community to evoke past anger, past. And they, Rodney King, all these issues that they present, how they trigger past emotions and past experiences, and we get stuck in a lot of that, walking and trying to find the same footprint in the lake. You can't go back into your past. We got to move forward with much more power. Like the Panthers initiative, they did things that were in the 60s, had a whole new vibe. Because things were happening that never happened before. That wasn't living in no past in the 60s. They changed the name, changed the hair, afro, super fro, you name it. Power to the people. All the expressions were new and fresh. It was very frightening to a certain group of people. And so they had to develop these COINTELPROs and all these other things to suppress it. But it was very powerful period in our lives. I lived to go through that, and it really impressed upon me a lot of really beautiful things about being black. And I believe it was Native American phrase that you used, as you walk through a river. Yeah, a stream, a lake. You can't step in the same part of the pond again. Right. Everything just keeps moving in life. That's how life is. Yeah, and it's so illustrative. Once you step, that the water's going to wash it away. So you won't be able to find that step again if you go back. Right. So that's powerful. And that's how memories have to be. When I started to understand how I was, I loved my growing up in the project. I love what I went through. I love high school. I love hanging out with the guys in the corner, but relatives and ancestors. I reminisce it in a different way. It's like I say, it's like a ladder or a step. Your family, relatives. I say I love it because it got me up to the next level. It's like a step. You don't regret it. You don't have problems about it. You just say thank you, God. Thank you for all my past experiences. Thank you for everything. I embrace it. The good, the bad, and the ugly. I embrace it all. And I, to a certain extent, let it go. I let it go in that I'm moving on up. I'm moving forward. And everything in the past is what got me to now. So I'm proud of that. Dysfunctional family, whatever they want to call it. Because nobody taught. My parents didn't get a recipe book on how to raise children. I didn't get one. But I knew my parents loved me. That was the ingredient that they left in the recipe. They made a lot of mistakes. But I knew, and I survived based on the love that they exemplified. I always remember their love for me. And my grandmothers,
and my grandparents, they carried me forward with their love. With all the mistakes that they made, it didn't matter because the love was much more potent. And that's the same. I love my children, my 3 sons. I love them so much, and I know I made mistakes. Hey, I know that. That's okay, because the love superseded all of that. My raising my children was, foundation was on love. My love. I raised them full time. I wasn't a part-time parent. I put time into it. And we celebrated. And they went a lot of places. They went everywhere I went. I partied, they partied too. Put them to bed early, but we shared a lot of good things. And they're raising their children with a lot of love. And it's just, you pass that on.
Yeah, that's the family legacy.
Yeah, you pass that on, and you pass on trying to do better, trying to improve, not trying to spoil, but spoiling with love. But also discipline. Even though toward the end my children were getting bigger. When I took them out, if I raised my voice, it got to the point where they were getting ready to call the police. I said, you're damned if you do. They don't want me to put my hand on my child, and yet they want me to discipline my child so he don't act up. Well, I put my hand on my child, and I did. So anyway, and I will do it again. And I told the people, they're looking at me like I'm committing a crime. I said, I take care of my children. I don't abuse them, but I do discipline them. Sometimes I use a little force.
You talked about the cleaning aspect of Ho-Oponopono, and after a few days ago when we were together, I began using the 4 mantras, and it was just amazing how so many memories that I had not thought of came up for me, and I believe it's part of that cleaning process that you're talking about. So can you touch on that a little bit? Like what does that do?
Well, I will start by just explaining basically the most important relationship is the relationship between conscious mind and the subconscious mind. Now, the conscious mind is what we are aware of, and it's very minuscule. It's small. It's small in comparison to what, well, it said we remember 15 thoughts per second. Okay, the subconscious mind remembers way back since the beginning of time. It has on board all these past lives and all the things that have happened since we've been on this earth. And I can't say how much is in my subconscious, but I know that my subconscious can give me and feed me information that creates harmony in my life. It knows everything that I need to know. It's been said that it has about 15 million thoughts per second as opposed to 15 like the conscious mind. And the sad part is that we live thinking that we know a lot based on the conscious mind or the so-called intellect. And because of that, we've made a lot of mistakes. There was a philosopher who said, I think, therefore I am. Descartes, I think it was French. He said, I think, therefore I am. And that created a lot. That's what the whole Western society was built on, this kind of premise, where because you can think, that means you exist. But I beg to differ with you, because we are spiritual beings having a human experience. If you believe you think, therefore you are, that means you're a human being having a spiritual experience. They did an experiment years ago, the Russians, where they weighed someone who was dying, and they had a certain weight. And when the person died, he got lighter. The weight on the scale got lighter. So something was there that's not there anymore. And that's the part that exists always. That's your spiritual side, or in the body called the soul. And that's something that never dies. It's energy. And so when you clean,
Divine Creator.
it's built in Ho-Oponopono. It's a unity of self. It's called self-identity. And it starts with divine above. If I had to draw a diagram, it's almost like an eye, a big I letter. It represents divinity above, out of the body, not in the body. But in the body, as you get into the body, there's the superconscious. That's, I say, like in the third eye area. The superconscious, the divine divinity or divine consciousness. No, that's like God, Buddha.
We ask for your forgiveness.
Some people Christians refer to Christ, Jesus Christ, God. That's divinity. Then you come into the body with superconscious. That's a connector, has a direct connection with divinity. Direct knows everything that divinity knows, but that's inside of us. That's the soul. In my profession, chiropractic, we call it innate, inborn intelligence in us, inborn, and we call God universal intelligence, controlling everything. But that God part that's inside of us, we call innate intelligence, and we call it the soul. But that's the superconscious. And then we go down to the conscious mind. The conscious mind is often referred to in Ho-Oponopono as the mother.
Divine Creator.
The superconscious mind I just came from is referred to as the father. The father, superconscious, the mother, the conscious mind, and the subconscious mind is referred to as the child. And the child is the most powerful part of the whole relationship inside the body. The mother has to nurture the child because we've been ignoring. Imagine ignoring your child. Your subconscious mind has been ignored. Mine's, God knows. I started doing this in 2009 and 2008, and I started recognizing that I was ignoring my subconscious mind, which controls everything that I do. So it was good to learn that I had to start taking care of and respecting the child in me, my subconscious mind, which is the most powerful part of our whole existence. When you learn how to nurture that subconscious mind through cleaning, you start to flow back toward your divinity. And I'm going to explain how that's done. It's basically, we call it a mantra, but in Ho-Oponopono, they call it a tool, a healing tool. It's a healing tool. It's meant to help you heal. Healing is moving more toward oneness, toward balance.
Divine Creator.
No impediments to being full of light, full of energy, perfect health, perfect expression. So when you say these words invoke energy, powerful energy, powerful energy. I love you. I'm sorry. Repentance. You're sorry for not acknowledging who you are. We're children of God. Once you know, that's why it's important to know who you are. Because you'll fall for anything. If you don't know, if you don't stand for who you really are, you'll fall for just anything. So, you want to acknowledge the child in you that can give you clarity. Because when you say, I'm a dog, the subconscious will give you a dog behavior. It'll give you the mannerism of things that are considered dogly. Whatever you want to feed your subconscious, that's what you get. You know, it's not what you see is what you get. It's what you carry inside you, what you say, what you think, and what you believe. So the word is very important. So if you say and honor yourself and talk to the child who knows you better than you know yourself, because you've already taught your child who you are. If you believe you're a dog, your child knows that. You know? Your child knows who you think you are, or who you act like you are. And you want to make the child, you want to get the child through nurturing, as a mother should, the mother energy. You nurture that child. And once you learn that, you start to meditate and go inside and ask for forgiveness to that child. You want that child to be at one with you, because that child will give you everything you need to be the power that you really are. That's where you know thyself, is when you can line this identity, self-identity starts with that conscious mind surrendering. That means that you know that there is a power greater than yourself, that you have to let go and let God take over. And how you do that is you start to respect the child in you. You respect your subconscious. And the Hawaiians do it with that family kind of touch. Because they do it. You can go get books on the subconscious and they'll tell you, scientifically speaking, you know, your right brain and all that scientific jargon, you know, like we're taught in school, scientific jargon, you know. And so, yeah, the subconscious mind controls, and that's a known fact, scientifically. Okay, so get your books out. You want to go to the science, go back to your books and get your science books and study your scientific, Freud, id, ego, and you come to know that you have to surrender, submit, or scientifically, you know, you have to know your place, know what hierarchy that and how things are structured scientifically in our bodies, how we behave. It's all psychologically programmed in us. So you honor that side, the child, through the prayer. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. Gratitude. They're all very powerful, because we've already been trained that once you say thank you, you don't usually say it until you get what you want. So you say it and then you'll get what you want. You know?
Would it be safe to say that as you're using those 4 healing tools that you're actually speaking to your child?
You are. That's the whole idea.
Okay.
And I'm glad for that clarification. Okay. You are talking to your child in you. But you have to be sincere. And your child, listen, your child knows you better than your mother, better than your parents, better than you do, because it's an inherent part of your psychic. It resonates with you since you were a baby. It saw your mother talking to you in the womb. Your psyche. So your subconscious mind is developed and keep developing,
Divine
and
creation.
it's connected with you. And you want to start appreciating that fact by surrendering, by watching what you say to yourself, because you're talking to that your subconscious mind has been listening to you all this time. So you wonder why you do what you do. Flip Wilson used to say, the devil made me do it. Well, the subconscious mind, you know, is made you do it. You know, and you program it by what you said. It doesn't know good or bad. There's no good or bad to the subconscious mind. It's no good or bad. It's you you bring it up. You say this is what you want to do. Your subconscious mind will give you everything you need to perform just like you want to perform. So you have to surrender to that force, become aware of it, acknowledge it, and practice it, and fake it till you make it. Because you're not going to see it, because you've been seeing all that other nonsense that's been projected in your subconscious mind. You've been trained ever since by your parents, the school, the TV. The TV's been telling you your vision, your television. You've been listening to the radio. You've You would listen to your peer group. When I was growing up, it was parents first, the church, then the teachers. Now it's your homeboy, your peer, your dog, as you call him, or whatever. But you see, the parents have taken back place. Maybe they're next, if you're lucky. And then the teachers, school, maybe. Well, no, maybe the TV, the computer and the TV is back to be a priority in this whole hierarchy of who we follow. It's your boy on the corner, computer, the script. Then we go maybe TV, and then maybe the parent. You stay home. And then, I don't know who comes next. Teacher, other authority figures are way, they moved away. So consequently, we have problems in our culture now because the family is being dispersed. The family was where we learned everything. How integrity, morals. We learned how to treat each other. So, family is single parent, teenage parent. All these things. Abortions. All these things affect the community. So the community is poisoned by the Western mind thought. So we have to unify yourself first, the family, and the nation, community, nation, back to as a people, like the Panthers used to say, power to the people. And we have to get back to power to the people, power to yourself, your community, and you take care of it, body, mind, and spirit. So the technique is you pray to the child, the conscious mind. The only thing the conscious mind has to do is surrender. The conscious mind has to, for this technique to work, it just has to choose, make a choice. It has free will, but the free will it has is just to go by memories or to be inspired. We're programmed. You say, well, I can do anything I want. No, you've been programmed. You don't even know why you do the things you do. Because your memories, you got a data bank, a computer bank. The computers is nothing compared to this mind that we have that's been tampered with. Over and over and over, to be born in the hospital, to take drugs, to eat meat, to drink liquor, to smoke cigarettes, to curse, to do this, to do that, to stay up late at night. All these things are programs. It's all programs. Disrespect is a program. Calling somebody a derogatory term is a program. And it's become acceptable somewhat, And that that acceptability takes us down. It doesn't take us up. Because divinity is not a dog. It's not a dog. Divinity is not, a profanity. It's not that. You want to go to your highest. You don't want to keep coming back. Repenting. Just learn your lesson now. Don't just go through this life. Grow through it. So you don't have to repeat elementary school all over again.
Divine Creator.
Learn your lesson as you go through this. You believe in karma or whatever you believe in. Like in Africa, they said these children come back with they just old souls coming back in a new body. That's why the children have to be put with the elders when they first born, and the elders have to hear the children because they're going where the children came from, and the children coming where the elders have been. And we share that family with the ancestors and the children and the babies. And you work on your self-identity through making the choice. You have a choice. Believe me, you only have two. You only have one choice. You could either go to memories, that's your living in the past, repeating everything that you do, your parents did, your grandparents, just repeating cycles over and over again, and then, or you can choose inspiration, to be inspired. That's when you choose to repeat the four phrases. Call it a mantra because it's spiritually, it has a lot of power. It invokes energy in you. So when you say, I love you, I can't think of a better thing to say. in a certain way, not as a gimmick or to rip somebody off. Hey, baby, I love you. I mean, you wanna be serious, because if you rip somebody off or you get what you want, you won't get really what you want, because what goes around, it comes right back around. Life is like a boomerang. You throw a boomerang at somebody, it's gonna come back and hit you in your head. Any energy it's a circle of life, circle of love, circle of life, and goes around, it comes around. So whatever you project out there,
my family,
that's what you're going to get.
and ancestors
Because your life is basically
have offended
what you see and what you do and how you behave.
relatives,
And you
ancestors,
cannot fool around this life
thoughts,
with evil, because you're only building that within yourself. So when you make that choice
of our creation.
to be inspired, you use those words. I love you. I'm sorry. People say, I didn't do nothing to be sorry for. Well,
Let this song
are you where you want to be? Who's holding you down? Who's holding you back?
purify and release
There's nothing holding you back except you.
blocks and vibrations
No man is holding you back.
and transmute
Now, you can delay some action or behavior to do, but if it comes to color, we have a black president now. Now, I understand if you really study history, we've had them before, but they didn't acknowledge that they were. But needless to say, this one, everybody acknowledged that we had a black president. Now, I'm saying that to say that there's nothing that that anybody can't do if they put their mind to it. So I'm saying that to say that just step forth and know yourself, because then you won't allow these other words to speak for you.
divine
If
creation.
you know that you're a king and a queen and you have dominion over this earth, you won't call yourself a dog. I mean, if a parent keeps calling their child a dog, pretty soon the child's gonna start barking.
My family, relatives, and
So I'm saying to say that
have offended you.
walk your talk and
Your
speak
family, relatives, and
how
ancestors.
you want to be, because that's who you will be. It's who you think you are.
Deeds and actions.
And think about it. Like, when you want to be inspired, that means that when you say
To the present.
I choose to be inspired, that means you turn to the child and you say, forgive me, I'm sorry, please forgive me. Or whatever circumstances that you're dealing with, you can actually clean on that. Anything that you're dealing with that doesn't represent who you really want to be, or who you feel like you should be, or who you know you should be, you clean on it. Because you can't see it unless it's a part of you anyway. So you're not looking at somebody as their problem, it's your problem too. That's why you see it. And you clean on it. I'm sorry for whatever part of me that's sharing this experience. Because you are in control of your life. And the more you take responsibility for it, I mean, look at Christ on the cross said, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. He took responsibility for everybody's sin, according to Christianity. So that's why they say you be saved if you believe in Christ.
I love you.
Well, if you believe in Christ, act like it.
Father, mother,
Talk like it. Be.
and son as one.
Be. There's nothing stopping us from being who we are.
I love
Supposed to be put on this earth. So you clean, you get inspiration from the
relatives
Creator.
and ancestors.
That inspiration, once you acknowledge that, I'm going to take you through the protocol of how it works in the self-identity. Once you make that choice that you're not going to follow memories, that you're going to clean on it, then you start to go to the
of
child
our creation
and you go to the subconscious mind. That energy goes to the subconscious mind.
for your
The subconscious mind goes up to the superconscious mind. It sends that energy to the superconscious mind. The superconscious mind evaluates it,
purify and release
and it has all the
and cut all
glory and energy of divinity, and it sends it on
and
to divinity.
these unwanted energies.
Your petition, as it's been called in Ho-Oponopono, is accepted and sent to the divinity. Divinity recognizes that you choose to clean, and you reward it by divinity sending down inspiration. Now, I can't tell you what that inspiration, because only God knows. You know, we keep asking God to give us this, to give us that. We pray to God for a new car or whatever. But let me tell you, if you want a vehicle, God knows that. God knows just what you want, and not only that,
Divine Creator.
God knows what you need. So if you want a vehicle,
Mother, please forgive.
God will give you
And Son as one.
the best thing you could ever desire. But learn how to
If I,
not just go there
my
when you have
family,
issues.
relatives,
Go there
and
regularly
friends,
so that you can stop acting on your memories all the time and start to line up your energy
family, relatives,
with your
and
child.
ancestors
And the child will start cleaning for you.
in thoughts.
But you have to work at it. Because I work with a lot of people who's new to the concept, and they want to know how to do it. You got to do it. It's not. Dr. Yulin says you don't teach Ho-Oponopono, you live Ho-Oponopono. So you have to be willing to step out, like they say in Christianity. Step out in faith. Step out. You know, I step out knowing, because I know where I came from.
Cut all negative memories,
You know,
blocks, and vibrations.
I know
And transmute
that there's greatness
unwanted energy.
in my lineage. You just study history. You study history, and they built the pyramids, the ancient mystery system. The Chinese they took all the machinery to build a pyramid, and it collapsed. How did them people back then put a pyramid together without all that heavy equipment? We had all the power and all the knowledge to do everything that we're doing now. Oh, this is cute. I like what we're doing now. I'm not knocking the technology, but we had technology that superseded everything, and we can go back there again. Yeah, so getting around to using the Ho-Oponopono, you have to step out and do the technique. Do it. Utilize it. There's no shortcut. You can go to the library, study. I recommend. I've studied books, tapes, everything. I studied Ho-Oponopono religiously.
Relatives and ancestors.
I studied it spiritually. And I read I have all his tapes. I bought them. Now they're on YouTube. You have to learn discernment. In the U.S. we learn discrimination. But you want to learn discernment, that you learn to get the best out of everything. Because God is everywhere. You need to look and see the face of God everywhere you look. But that is another lesson. You clean and clean and clean, and you'll get there. You'll start to see what's really, you'll be aware of what's really there. We don't see now. We see things, but we don't see what's there. We see what we're taught to see. But anyway, you go from the before I love you, I'm sorry, forgive me, thank you to the child. I told you I took you up all the way up to divinity. Divinity sends down the spiritual food called the manna. The manna feeds your spirit. It goes down to the superconscious mind, down to the conscious mind, gets a little flavor of that inspiration, and that's is delivered to the child. And now you'll become one. You're void. You're void, you hear me? You're not full of stuff. You're void. And that voidness allows spirit to come in.
I love you. Divine
You
Creator.
can accept spirit and you'll be inspired.
Father, Mother.
God made me do that. You know, I didn't think about that. Something made me do, we say, something made me do that. Hey, God made you do it. And then you start to acknowledge God more in your life, and you build God up. And pretty soon you take responsibility, because you know that God is running this show. You surrender to God self-identity from the bottom up. You surrender to your divinity. You become enlightened. Become the one. One with the one with yourself, one with everything in nature. There's no separation. That's something we were taught. This is mine. Hey, it's all out of ignorance. We're ignoring who we really are. There's no separation. Physics is showing that now, called the quantum field. Go to the quantum field, which is zero, which is void of anything. to create a change, you have to forget about the body, your body. You have to forget about your environment, and you have to forget about time. And there are three things that's destroying us now. Weapons of mass distraction. We're always worrying about what time is it, what's going on around me, outside of me, and how this body looks outside, not inside, but outside. And so
Divine Creator.
when you forget about that and you start to
Father, Mother.
go to the quantum field in
And
physics,
Son
quantum
as
physics,
one.
or go to the void in Ho-Oponopono, you go to the same destination, which is
I, my family.
divinity, or that universal intelligence that they say in physics. It's all one. There's only one God that resides in you and me.
And ancestors.
And I want to see that face of God everywhere.
In thoughts, words, and deeds,
Before
and actions.
I want to die now to all this trash and
Of our creation.
misconcepts. I die to all of that. If you want to die while you're in your body, like in the Buddha. You die right now to all that teachings
Let this song
and awaken to your true self,
purify
your self
release,
identity.
and cut all negative memories,
Thank you so
blocks,
much.
and vibrations,
Thank
and
you.
transmute
May I say,
these
thank you.
unwanted energies into pure light.
I love you.
And it is done.
I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Ooh, thank you. Ooh, J'adore. Thank you. Doom, 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 doom. Thank you. J'adore. Thank you. Merci. Thank you. I love you. Thank you. Merci. Thank you. I love you. Thank you. I love you.
Divine Creator,
I'm sorry.
Father, Mother,
Please forgive me.
and Son as one.
Thank you. I love you.
If I, my family,
I'm sorry.
relatives, and ancestors
Please forgive me.
have offended you,
Thank you.
your family, relatives, and
I love
ancestors
you. Ooh,
in
I'm
thoughts,
sorry.
words, and deeds, and
Please
actions
forgive me.
from the beginning of our
Thank
creation
you.
to the present.
I love you.
We ask for your forgiveness.
I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
Let this song
Thank you.
cleanse, purify, and
I
release,
love you. Ooh,
and cut all
I'm
negative
sorry.
memories, blocks, and vibrations,
Please forgive me.
and transmute these unwanted energies
Thank you.
into pure light.
I love you.
And it is done.
I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Ooh, thank you. Ooh, J'adore. Thank you. Merci. Thank you. J'adore. Thank you. Merci. Thank you. I love you. Thank you. Merci. Thank you. I love you. Thank you.